Has the Mahdi arrived? Has al-Mahdi arrived? The signs of the day of Qiyamah, Ashratu Sa'a, and the advent of al-Mahdi, the arrival of al-Mahdi. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has enlightened us, he has taught us many signs of the last hour of Judgment Day, from amongst which we have the arrival of al-Mahdi, a righteous leader who will fill the earth with justice, he will fill the earth with peace, he will fill the earth with goodness. But this time, this era of justice, this era of peace and goodness will not remain unchallenged. It will be preceded, in the sense prior to that period, you will have trials, you will have tribulations. Subhanallah, the time that we live in, many of us have this question: when is the help of Allah coming? When are these trials going to end? When is the violence going to end? Day after day, we witness videos, we go onto social media, we see what's happening in the lands of Palestine, in Palestine. We see how fathers, how mothers are bidding farewell to their young children, to infants, to children, to babies. Families are torn apart. Communities are being carpet bombed. And our hearts are filled with despair. Our hearts are filled with sadness. And we're all having this question: when is the help of Allah coming? When is al-Mahdi coming? But through the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we find out that prior to his arrival, there will be unprecedented trials. There will be a lot of challenges, the greatest of which will be the fitna of Dajjal, the emergence of Dajjal, the deceiver. Now he obviously, through the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, we know that he is a figure, Dajjal, a figure synonymous with batil, with falsehood, synonymous with dhulm, oppression, with corruption. He will test the very fabric of our iman, of our faith. So as believers, my dear brothers and sisters, as we await the arrival of al-Mahdi, as we await the coming of al-Mahdi, our hearts, our minds must be vigilant. We must work on our hearts. We must work on our minds. We are reminded in the Hadith of the importance of understanding the signs that lead up to these monumental events. And we must prepare ourselves spiritually. We must prepare ourselves physically. We must prepare ourselves mentally. We must prepare ourselves intellectually. We must prepare ourselves emotionally. And we must prepare ourselves morally. There's a lot of preparation. This preparation is not just a passive waiting. Some of us, unfortunately, we adopt this defeatist attitude. There's nothing that we can do. All we can do is wait. No, my dear brother. No, my dear sister. The preparation is not just passive waiting. It is an active process. You have to strengthen your faith. You have to deepen your knowledge. You have to embody the values of Islam in every aspect of our lives as we wait. So inshallah ta'ala, today's khutbah is not merely a narration of the events to come or to unfold. It is a call to action. It is a call to action. It is a reminder to each and every one of us to hold firmly to the rope of Allah. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. To hold firmly to the rope of Allah, to seek knowledge and to live our lives in a manner that prepare us for the times of both al-Mahdi and Dajjal. We must prepare ourselves. So now, in the few minutes that I have with you all, let us delve into this significant area of Islam, understanding the signs and strengthening ourselves for the future that awaits us. We have a hadith recorded in the book of Imam Muslim rahimahullah. Hudhayfah ibn Asid al-Ghifari radiyallahu anhu, he narrates. So Hudhayfah radiyallahu anhu, he narrates that once the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came out when we were all discussing something. The narration goes along the lines of these words. He comes to the companions and he asks them, what are you discussing? What are you all talking about? Then we said, the companions, including Hudhayfah radiallahu anhu, we are talking about as-sa'ah. We're talking about the final hour. We're talking about Judgment Day. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in that hadith, he went on to say, إِنَّهَا لَن تَقُومْ حَتَّى تَرَوْنَ قَبْلَهَا عَشْرَ آيَاتٍ. The day of Qiyamah will not be established until you see 10 signs. So the hadith then goes on to mention the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He goes on to now mention 10 major signs of the day of Qiyamah. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, he mentions, فَذَكَرَ الدُّخَانِ. He mentioned the dukhan, the smoke that will fill the planet. He mentioned Dajjal. He mentioned ad-dabba, the beast that will emerge towards the end of times. Then he mentioned tulu' ash-shamsi min maghribiha, the sun rising from the west. Wa nuzul Isa ibn Maryam. He mentioned the descent of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, 5 signs. Ya'juj wa ma'juj, 6th sign. Wa thalathata khusuf. Khusufun khasfun bil mashriq. You will have 3 major earthquakes. One in the east, wa khasfun bil maghrib, one in the west, wa khasfun bi jaziratil Arab, and one in the lands of Arabia. The last sign will be narun takhruju min al-Yaman. There will be a fire that will emerge from the lands of Yemen, and it will gather tatrudun nasa ila mahsharihim. It will gather the remaining mankind to the gathering place. 10 major signs. Dukhan, Dajjal, Dabba. The sun rising from the west. The descent of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Khasfun bil mashriq, a major earthquake in the east. A major earthquake in the west. A major earthquake in the lands of Arabia. Finally the fire from the lands of Yemen. Now obviously time does not permit for me to go into all of these signs and unpack them and discuss them in detail. But from these signs, the greatest trial of them all, the greatest fitna of them all is Dajjal. Dajjal. Dajjal is not some symbolic, metaphorical figure. No. We have narrations of the Prophet ﷺ that clearly describe to us Dajjal. His build, his hair, his complexion, his eyes. He's not going to be like the minion figure with one eye on the forehead. No, he will have 2 eyes, but one eye will be covered with a piece of flesh, and the other eye will be swollen. The eyeball will be swollen and floating around in the eye socket like a grape, like a swollen grape. He will be sterile. He will have no children. Now, why am I mentioning this description, my dear brothers and sisters, is because there are some people who interpret Dajjal. The television is Dajjal. The internet is Dajjal. The computer is Dajjal. The mobile phone is Dajjal. Why? Because it has the selfie camera at the top. It has one eye on the top. So it is Dajjal, the mobile phone. But now you have 2 cameras as well coming in the front at times. And you have so many sensors. So obviously, on a more serious note, these interpretations don't make sense. Why? Because the Prophet tells us that he will have curly hair, for example. The mobile phone, does it have curly hair? He will be sterile, meaning he will have no children. Can the mobile phone have children? He will be of a stocky build. Can the television fit this description? So as you can see, these interpretations, these symbolic interpretations are far from the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'd like to mention a hadith, and this is anyway a lengthy hadith, the hadith of Nawas ibn Sam'an radiyallahu an, in which these signs and Dajjal and al-Mahdi and all of this is mentioned. I'm going to share fragments with you all, inshallah. In that hadith, the Sahaba, they asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, how long will Dajjal stay on earth? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded, 40 days. 40 days. One day will be like a year. One day will be like 365 days. One day will be like a month, like 30 days, 29 to 30 days. One day will be like a week. It will be almost like 7 days. And the rest of the days will be like your days. So 40 days, but one day will be like a year. The next day will be like a month. The next day will be like a week. And the remaining days will go like our normal, ordinary days. Then they asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, how fast will Dajjal travel through the earth? Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, like the clouds when they are driven by the wind. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, when the Prophet said this 1400 years ago, the Sahaba did not question the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, is he Superman? How is he going to fly through the clouds? They accepted it because of the strength of their iman. Today, is it difficult for us to interpret this? Don't planes fly like the clouds? Don't private jets fly like the clouds? And today, every single other person who's made a little bit of money has a private jet. Social media influencers have private jets. Sports personalities, football players have private jets. And they travel wherever they want to travel, very fast. So you think an individual like this, Dajjal, it's going to be difficult for him to travel the way the Prophet ﷺ explained to us? No, he'll find it extremely easy. The Prophet goes on to say, he will come to some people and call them, and they will believe in him and respond to him. Allahu Akbar. They will respond to him. He will command the sky to rain, and it will rain. Allah will that it will rain, and it will rain. He will command the earth to bring forth vegetation, and it will bring forth vegetation. And so on and so forth. This narration brings forth so many things about Dajjal. He will come with so much of tests and trials and tribulations. My dear brothers and sisters, you have to understand something. If you are not equipped with knowledge, an individual who is not equipped with knowledge will fall prey to the traps of shaitan. Because why? As a society, as a community, we are so gullible these days. Look at how we fall prey to things on social media. It doesn't take a lot for us to fall prey. We easily fall prey for misinformation and this and that. So you think when Dajjal, who is described as the greatest of trials, comes about, and if we are not equipped with iman, if we are not equipped with knowledge, you think we're going to stand strong and be able to identify him and say he is Dajjal and stay away from him? Allahu Akbar. So it is of utmost importance that we educate ourselves. And this is why I started off at the beginning saying that it is part of our preparation to identify Dajjal, to identify al-Mahdi, to prepare ourselves for the trying times that lie ahead. If you think that these times are trying, my dear brother, my dear sister, you've got it wrong. We are headed into a lot more turbulence. May Allah protect us. May Allah keep us steadfast. Ameen. So as we contemplate the trials and tribulations of the end times, my dear brothers and sisters, the hadith of Nawas ibn Sam'an, again recorded in the book of Imam Muslim, illuminates the arrival of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahu Akbar. In that hadith, it is mentioned that he will descend at the white minaret on the eastern side of Dimashq, on the eastern side of Damascus. And in today's geographical context, this refers to an area in modern day Syria. He will arrive there, and this descent is not merely a symbolic event, my dear brothers and sisters. It is the pivotal turning point in the battle between truth and falsehood. Why? Because Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, Jesus alayhi salatu wasalam, he will come at a time when the world is engulfed in turmoil and deception, led by Dajjal. Turmoil, darkness, evil, oppression, all of which Dajjal will bring forth. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam will come at a time, you could say, at the peak of it. And his arrival will signify a moment of great triumph for truth and justice. The Hadith describes very powerfully, listen to me attentively. The Hadith describes the Prophet ﷺ did not leave us groping in the dark. The Prophet in the authentic Hadith even went on to tell us the clothing of Isa ﷺ, what he will wear when coming down. Allahu Akbar. The Hadith tells us that he will come clothed in two lightly saffron colored garments, cream garments if you will, light yellow garments. And his hands will be resting on the wings of two angels as he comes down. Allahu Akbar. What a powerful spectacle. A world engulfed with darkness, a world engulfed with oppression, cruelty, injustice, violence, murder, bloodshed, killing. At a time like this beacon of light, this lighthouse of hope, this powerful prophet who is promised to come, will come. He will descend, his hands resting on two angels. Upon his arrival, and in that hadith, interestingly, the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us that his head will be lowered down and there will be beads of sweat, of sweat, dropping from his head. The narration goes along the lines of these words, like pearls. They will be illuminating like pearls. And as he arrives, he will pursue Dajjal. Dajjal will flee upon learning of the arrival of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. This chase will lead to the eventual encounter near Babul Lud, near the gate of Lud, which is in the lands of Palestine, or the occupied lands by Israel. Allahu Akbar. This is where Dajjal will be killed by Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Those lands that are now facing so much of strife, so much of trial and tribulation, that is where falsehood will be defeated, annihilated. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam will kill Dajjal on those lands. So my dear brothers and sisters, just before all of this now, I've established that Dajjal will be killed at the hands of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. Just prior to this, we have al-Mahdi. Just before the arrival of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, we have the arrival of al-Mahdi. Now why I want to touch on this for a few minutes is because there's a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos. So many imposters on social media today claiming to be al-Mahdi. Falsehood, lies. So many people. You go on TikTok, I am al-Mahdi, I am al-Mahdi, I am al-Mahdi. And sadly, this is why I said, we are so gullible, so many of us have fallen prey to such statements. Why? Because lack of knowledge, because of ignorance. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, a section of my people will not cease fighting for the truth and will prevail till the day of Qiyamah. Isa ﷺ would descend, and their commander, Amiruhum al-Mahdi, their commander al-Mahdi would invite him to come and lead them in prayer. But he would say, no, some amongst you are leaders over some amongst you, and he will pray. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam will pray behind al-Mahdi. This is the honor from Allah over this ummah, the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. There are many hadith, I'll mention a few very quickly. At the end of the time, this hadith is recorded in al-Mustadrak al-Hakim, at the end of the time of my ummah, the Mahdi will appear. Allah will grant him rain. The earth will bring forth its fruits. He will have wealth, cattle will increase, and the ummah will become great. He will rule for 7 or 8 years. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said, the Mahdi, al-Mahdi is one of us. The Mahdi is one of us, a member from my family. The Prophet said, Allah will guide him in a single night. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said, the Mahdi is from my lineage. He will have a high forehead. He will have a long, thin, curved nose. And he will fill the earth with fairness and justice as it was filled with oppression and injustice. And he will rule for 7 years. So as you can see, my dear brothers and sisters, al-Mahdi, which means the guided one in Arabic. Al-Mahdi, the term al-Mahdi means the guided one, is a righteous leader who will appear in the last days of the ummah, just before the arrival of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. He will be forced to become a leader. He will not claim to be al-Mahdi. He will not say, today, unfortunately, people fight for leadership. People ask for leadership shamelessly. Al-Mahdi will not ask for leadership. He will not come and he will not open up a TikTok account and say, I am al-Mahdi, follow me, pledge allegiance to me. That is what is happening today with the imposters. You go on social media, liars claiming to be al-Mahdi. The real Mahdi, these are not my words, the words of the Prophet ﷺ. The people will force him to be al-Khalifa, the leader. He will not want it. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said that al-Mahdi will be from my offspring, from the descendants of Fatima radiyallahu anha. From the descendants of Fatima radiyallahu anha. His name, in another hadith, the Prophet has said, his name will be my name. And his father's name will be my father's name. So he will be Muhammad ibn Abdullah. The title is al-Mahdi. This is another thing that people are confused about. His name is not going to be al-Mahdi. Al-Mahdi means the guided one. His name is going to be Muhammad ibn Abdullah, as per the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So as you can see, my dear brothers and sisters, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also tells us that Allah will set right his affairs in a single night, which means in one night he will rise to power, he will rise to authority. In the sense, the people of knowledge will be able to identify him. He will not claim or clamor for fame and all of this, but because of the authenticity, because of the help of Allah, those who have knowledge will be able to identify him and his authority will be established. So my dear brothers and sisters, I'm running out of time. So as I conclude, I want to mention an important point. There are many charlatans, many imposters who have appeared today claiming to be al-Mahdi. The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said, there will be 30 liars from my nation, all of them claiming to be a prophet, but I am the seal of the prophets. This is one hadith that talks about prophethood. There are basically narrations that tell us that falsehood will appear. Imposters, fake individuals will try to claim prophethood. They will claim to be al-Mahdi. We should not fall prey to all of this. We should educate ourselves. We should not fall prey to imposters. The hadith in Muslim, the Prophet tells us, يَكُونُ فِي آخِرِ الزَّمَانِ دَجَّالُونَ كَذَّابُونَ. Not one Dajjal. There will be Dajjals in plural, many Dajjals near the end of time. Liars, kadhabun, liars, who will bring narrations you have never heard. Neither you nor your fathers. Narrations that we have never ever heard. Like I said, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and all these places claiming to be al-Mahdi. And people are actually falling prey for it and thinking, is this person al-Mahdi? Allahu Akbar. So, my dear brothers, in that hadith, the Prophet tells us, men will appear near the end of time who deceive the world with the religion. They will confuse their people. Their skin is soft as sheep. Their words are sweeter than sugar, yet their hearts are like the hearts of wolves, cunning. Allahu Akbar. May Allah protect us all. Hadith is recorded in the book of Imam al-Tirmidhi, rahimahullah. Therefore, anyone claiming to be al-Mahdi should be met with skepticism. Like I said, the real Mahdi will not come out and say, I am al-Mahdi, follow me, follow me, follow me. No. As you can see through the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will be forced into the position of leadership, and then he takes on the position of leadership. He will rule for 7 or 8 years. The world will be filled with fairness, justice, and peace and goodness. And then eventually Isa alayhi salatu wasalam will come, and all of this will lead towards the end of this world. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, it is upon us, like I said at the beginning, not to develop a defeatist attitude. Rather, we should be actively preparing ourselves, educating ourselves, strengthening our faith, strengthening our iman, preparing ourselves for the times of al-Mahdi and Dajjal, and the time that we are living in, my dear brothers and sisters. Without a shadow of doubt, we are very close to those times. We don't know when it is going to happen, but the signs are taking place one after the other. Minor signs. Today when you look around, do you not see intoxicants becoming the order of the day? Do you not see lies and falsehood becoming the order of the day? The Prophet tells us towards the end of time, you will see al-Haraj, killing, senseless killing. Today, do we not see it all over the world? Left, right, center. Children being butchered, people being killed, violence, violence, violence. So we're living at a time like that, my dear brothers and sisters. So we need to strengthen our iman. We need to strengthen ourselves and prepare ourselves for the end of times.